Hello everyone, so welcome to Mauli Azameti channel. So today I'll be showing you how to build a video and audio calling application. So I found this library online from this company ZEGOCLOUD, and I decided to try to see how to implement call making application. So I'm here to share with you what I've learned and then how to implement it. The good thing I found about this company is that they provide a lot of services, which include making video call, audio call, live streaming, in-app chats, and AI support for making background effects and all that. When you go through their website, just Google search ZEGOCLOUD.com. They provide a lot of services, and I think it's cool. So what I discovered is that when you are building like a social media application, online dating application, you are building game application, education, when you want to create a one-on-one tutoring, live room, virtual room where students can learn, or customer support. You are building e-commerce where you want to support customers through video and chats and all that. And we have health, where you provide a secure communication for your patients and then doctor communication. I think this product will be the best option for you. We have virtual collaboration. So now that remote work have become the order of the day, if you want to build a platform where people can communicate, like Zoom, Google Meeting, and all that, I think this is one of the best solutions out there to use. So you can check it out. Aside that, they provide pre-built UI kits that you can easily integrate into your project. So you see here, they support most of the major platforms. We have Android, iOS, the web, Flutter, React, Windows, and all that. And aside that, you just need some few lines of code to implement this into your application. So with this line of code, you can start video call immediately. They have extensive documentation. They have documentation covering everything that you want to implement. Aside that too, I remember when I was implementing it, I was having some issues and I reached out to their customer service. I got feedback and they guide me through as to what to do. I think it's the best out there. So you can try it out, but we'll dive into code to learn how to build it. I'll demonstrate it to you. Aside that too, they offer free 10,000 call minutes for testing, and I think it's sufficient enough for you to do your development and make all the testing before you deploy to production. So let's take some time and dive into code and see how to implement it. In this video, I'll guide you through how to create accounts. The first thing you need is you create account with them, and then you set up your project. After that, you add their library to your code, and then you follow their guide to implement it. So let's see how it works. So the first thing you do is you Google search them online, called ZEGOCLOUD. Once you got that, you come here to sign up. So from here, you can see that they support all the major platforms. And this is what I'm talking about. They have 10,000 free call minutes that you can use to test your product. And I think it's a lot of this thing. And you can see here, with just a few lines of code, within 30 minutes, you can get your code or projects ready. So let's create account and set up our project. So you first of all enter your name. Select your country. So I'm from Ghana. Then I'll enter my email. Select terms and conditions. You can read more. Then you click on get code. So they'll send this code to your email. So verification code will be sent to your email. So let me check it out. So this is the verification code. Select it and copy. Come to paste it here. So enter your password and then start free trial. So after creating the account, you get this dashboard, but you have to complete this. So for the company name, if you are individual, you can enter your name. If you are company, you can enter your company name. So I'm an individual, I'll enter my name. And the company website, job title, I'll just select individual developer, and then industry, I'll say IT services. And then I'll enter my phone. So I'll select Ghana. So once you complete this, you can click on continue. So after completion, you see that they give you 10,000 free minutes, which you can use for all your testing. Just click on dashboard to start creating your application. When you create an account, they provide you a dashboard. So over the dashboard, you can see all your projects. So we have the main dashboard, we have projects, you have your billing, so you have your billing information and all that. So I think it's cool. Let's create a project. You click on this to set up a project. So from the dashboard, creating a project, you see a lot of starter templates that you have. So we have the option for the video calls, the conference, the live streaming, audio chats, the gaming, online karaoke, watch together, customizable app, and the health SDKs as well. So they have a lot of package. I think that's cool. They have a lot of package. So in this video, I'll show you how to build a video and then the call making app. So you select the first one here and then you come to next. Then you enter your project name. So don't leave a space between the application, cloud demo app. That's how I'll call it. And then you have two options. So if you want to use the Zego UI kit, so these are the pre-built UI kits that you can use, or when you want to customize and perform advanced customization and all that, then you choose this. So I'll go with the UI kit. So select this one. So your project is setting up. So your project is created successfully. You'll be taken to this page. So you have to select the platform you want to build the application for, whether the web, the iOS, Android, or Flutter. So I'll go with Android. You select Android. We have one-on-one call, we have group call when you select this option. They also have premium face beautification, screen sharing, virtual avatar, but these are premium versions. So we'll go with the starter pack. Click on save and integrate. Our application is ready. Click on go to admin console. So here you see the project you have created. Click on the application and select service management. Navigate to this section, in-app chats. When you come to in-app chats, then select activate. Click on ready to activate to complete the setup. So it's been processed. When it's ready, you'll get a notification. So what we need here to start integrating into our code is that app ID and then the app signing. Now let's dive into code. Create a new project. Select empty view activity. Give your project a name. Select Kotlin and then click on finish. Let's start by adding ZEGOCLOUD dependency to our project. So open the Gradle script here and come to settings.gradle.kt. So inside the dependency resolution management block, below the Maven Central, add the following dependency. So when you come to ZEGOCLOUD starter guide, so they give you all the steps to complete in order to build a call making application. So we are interested in call with invitation. So you select call with invitation. So just copy the link. Copy this link. So come to your project and type Maven and then do a quote and then paste it in. So go and copy the second line. The second thing is you come to your build.gradle.kt, the one with the model app. Below the dependencies, you go to the second step. So if you have older version of Gradle, these are the steps you follow. So I'll continue. Then you add this to your dependency. So come here and just copy this part. This is Java implementation, so it's slightly different in Kotlin. And when you come here, type implementation. I would love to use view binding, so I'll enable view binding. This is not part of Zego. So type build features and then inside type view binding and set it to true. Because I don't want to use a lot of find view by ID, so I love to use view binding. So sync the project, create a new activity. So right click and then select new, select activity and then select empty views activity. I'll call it call activity. then click on finish. So right click here to create another file for constants, files, and then type constant. So I'll create a constant for my app ID and then the app sign. The next one is the keys for our username and the user ID. Copy your app ID and paste here. Click on this button. It will reveal your app sign. You copy that one too. It's a string, so you paste it between here. Inside our main activity, I'll configure the view binding. So create a private variable called binding. So select main binding. So you can remove all this and then type binding. Now pass the binding to set content view. Do the same for the call activity. The reason we have two activities is that first you have to set up your call interface. So you enter your name and then the ID. So your ID serves like a telephone number for yourself. You use that number to make a call. Then you can share that number or ID with others to, join the call. So that's what we are coming to do. Inside your main activity, change the constraint layout to linear layout. Enter orientation as vertical and then enter gravity as center. Now let's put some title here. Set the text style to bold. Set the text size to 24 to make it bigger. Now let's add the input field for our username. Text input layout. So select this and set it to match parent, wrap content, and then you close it out. So we'll do text input edit text. So select this. So make it match parent, wrap content. So this is our input field. Now give the text input an ID of username. So let's add some space between this text and the input field. So add some hints here. Add text color as black. So select black. Copy the same thing and then paste below for the ID. So change this to user ID and then enter ID. Let's add a button to log in. Give the button an ID and then set the text of login. Let's provide a space above here. Let's go to the call activity. Change the layout to linear layout and then set the orientation to vertical. Add a button. Below this, add a linear layout. Make it 0 dp. Make this one match parent. Set the weight to 1. Give it a gravity of center. Add another linear layout. Make it match parent, wrap content. So inside that layout, add two text view. Set orientation for this linear layout to vertical. So let's make this text bold, text style. Let's make the size 24. So move outside this linear layout. Outside this linear layout, add input field. So I'll come to the main activity to copy this one. Copy this and then bring it to the core activity. Change the ID to target ID. So specify orientation for all the linear layouts. So below this input, add a linear layout. So inside this linear layout, we'll add buttons from ZEGOCLOUD. So type ZEGO send call invitation button. Make the width and the height 60 dp. So this is it. And then give it an ID. So we'll use this button for making audio call. I want to change the color to gray. Set background tint. And then you can select the black and you come to this and then select green. And then we'll copy the same thing and then paste below. Change the ID to new video call. So this one, I'll leave the default button color. From here, you can see that the buttons are really close to each other. So let's add some space around it. So apply the same margin to the second one. So that's it. We are done for the UI. In the main activity, all what you need to do is to get the user ID. What we are most interested is the user ID. So you just get the user ID and then the username from this input field. So those IDs and the name will be displayed here at the top. And then we'll get someone else's user ID and then trigger the call. It's like how you use your phone. You have your own phone number. You use that number to call someone. So you enter the person's phone number in order to call it. So it's the same way. You register your own number and then you come here, enter someone's number. Use one of these buttons to either make an audio call or video call. So let's get started. Just set up login button. So I'll create a function for performing that login. Put your mouse on it, you get the option to create this function. Just use the binding dots, then we get access to the login button and we set a click listener on it. So over here we get the input from this input field. You do that by creating a variable for them. You duplicate the same thing, change it to ID. So change here to user ID. We want to do some small validation to check that user has really entered something. If not, we throw an error message. So if this field is not empty, what do we want to do? We want to navigate to the call screen and pass the name and the ID we entered. So first create an intent for the navigation. So pass this. So put your mouse on it to import the intent class. Pass this at main activity and then you pass call activity. As we navigate to that screen, we want to pass the username and then the ID. So you do intent.put extra. So this is where we use our constant. Copy the username as our key and then pass the name. So duplicate this same line and change here to user ID. Change the value to ID. So now let's navigate there by calling start activity and pass the intent. So in the case where this is empty, we want to inform the user about it. So let's run the application and see if our navigation works. If you click on the login button, you see the message user ID required. Enter a name and then an ID. And then when I click, okay, so it navigates to the call screen. So now in the call activity, let's retrieve the username and the ID that we passed. In the call activity, we retrieve the username that we passed. Let's set the name and the ID that we got from the main activity on these test views. Let's create a function to do that. Setup. So here you use the binding dot user ID and then set test to the ID. So you can get the user ID here by passing a string. We pass the ID and the name. So let's test it again. The username and the ID is working. Alright, so now the next thing to do is to start the SQL call service. So to do that, I'll create a function for that. So to start the call service, we need the app ID, app sign, user ID, and then username. So you click on it to create the function. So we have to pass the username and the user ID. We already have the app ID and then the app sign. So now let's pass the user ID and the name. Inside this method, create a variable called config and instantiate the ZEGOCLOUD. So copy this. So put your mouse on it to import. So copy this line and then paste here. Import this class. So here we use application. Change it to application. So we can get our app ID from here. And then get an app sign from here. Now the user ID is the ID that we passed, and then the name. The name. Now the config is the config that we created. Okay. All you require is those two lines to start the call service. The next thing we have to do is to configure the button. So let's start. Inside the call service, I think I'll create a method for starting video call and then another method for starting audio call. So let's start with the audio call. So we've already added this button. So the next thing is to decide whether the button is for video call. So inside the function, you type binding.audiocall.set, and then call this function set is video call. It's not video call, so you pass false. The next thing is to set a click listener. So type binding.audiocall set. So the on click listener, we have different types. So make sure you select this one. The one that said error code, error message, select that one. Okay. Inside the click listener, first get the target ID. So create users and then set it to list of, pass ZEGO UI. So that's all that it takes. So first you decide what the button will do, whether video call or audio calls. And then you set a click listener. You get the target user ID. Then you create users. Because you can invite multiple people to the call, it takes lists of users. And then you pass the target ID to this class. And then we need the person's name. So we just set this target ID underscore name. Pass that list of users to this method. Let's do the same for video call. So copy this function and then paste it below here. Change the name to video call and then set video call to true because we are making video call here. Set it to true and then change this button to video call. Now we can call video call method in on create function. Okay, so let's test this and see how it works. Okay, so let's log in. Okay, so there you have it. You have the name and then the buttons. When you click on it, for now it will not work because we need a user ID. So I have to share this same application with someone so that the person can also start generate his or her ID, and then I'll take his ID to start the call. But before we do that, let's complete the exit button. And then one thing, you have to close the service when you are closing the application. So this one starts the application. We have to close the service when we are about to exit the application. To do that, you call the onDestroy method. Below the super onDestroy, just copy this class, paste here, and then call the method onInit. And then we want, when we want to navigate back with the exit button, when we want to navigate back to the login screen, we want to also close the service. So to do that, I love to create functions. So I'll create a function for the exit button. So set up exit, put your mouse on it to create the exit. So over here, we will just create a dialog to exit the application. So let's test it. So now let's click on exit. Okay, so you get this message, are you sure you want to exit? You click OK to exit and go back, or you cancel. Alright, so now I've deployed the application to my physical phone and I have my emulator here. So I'm coming to test the call making. So let me enter Maoli and I'll enter ID of 12345 and I'll click on login. So I've logged in my phone with the ID. Then I'll go to the emulator. I'll enter username of Zameti and then enter ID 645680 and then I'll log in as well. This is the ID for my emulator and then the ID for my physical phone. So I'll enter physical phone ID here to call my physical phone. So the physical phone has the ID of 1234. So I'm going to enter it 12345. Okay, 5. It has started a call. I mean, when you check, so you see Azameti is calling. So this is the audio call. It has started a call successfully. So I can click here to accept the call. Alright, so I'll accept the permission. So now here to have to accept the permission. Hello. 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 Okay. Hello. So I'm talking through my physical device. So this is so simple. You can build any call service application with this so easily. So let's test the video application. So I'll hang up. I'll make the video call from my physical device. So I'll enter this ID 6789. Okay, so I'll make a video call. So this is how the video service works. So I will come to the emulator, then accept the call. So this one provides you with all the services to start making. So you have all the controls that we get in our call services. So this is how easy it is to make a call in your application. They have the control for switching the camera. You can mute the audio. You can put it on loudspeaker. You can mute. You can switch back the camera. So you can block the camera. So all the controls, is very easy to implement. Then we hang up. So notice how the UI is so intuitive. ZEGOCLOUD handle most of the complexity for you. The video quality is not bad, it's of excellence, and the latency too is minimal. This is great for real-time communication. So if you are building social media applications, gaming, education, live streaming, health app, I will encourage you to try it out. If you are interested in trying their product, head over to ZEGOCLOUD.com and then create an account. Once you create an account, they will give you a dashboard. So you come here to create a new project. Then you connect the application to your code. Whether you are on iOS, Android, any platform, they provide support for that. So remember to take advantage of the 10,000 free call minutes. There's a lot of time for you to test. Like I said, they have extensive documentation that provide all the help and support that as a developer you need. Again, it is very easy to implement. With just some few lines of code, we were able to integrate the call service easily. You just add this link to your project, you add their dependency, then you enable the permission as well. From there, you start the ZEGOCLOUD call service. After that, you set up your buttons. So this is the code. It's so easy. Aside that too, they provide sample code on GitHub that you can explore. So for the documentation, they've really done a lot. And they've been in service for 2 decades. That's credible and then trustworthy enough to do business with them. So I reached out to them and it took no time to respond to my service. I will encourage you, both beginners and then advanced programmers. You can try it out, and anytime you need to implement core service in application, you can recommend this to your client or your company. So guys, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Feel free to drop any question in the comments. I will be here to help you. Happy coding. See ya.